How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. If you're wondering why this image looks cursed, it's because I shaved. I don't know. I was getting tired of it. I have to admit, one of the big reasons why I got it was because when I was weighing a lot more, I kind of had super baby face going, and I was not a huge fan of that. And so I grew it out kind of like to show my age a little bit more, but I've never enjoyed it. Like, I mean, it looked okay, but I just it was an uncomfortable thing to do, and I don't know. I might go back. I'm not sure yet, but I decided kind of on a whim to shave it off and see how I felt because I'm also kind of embracing the new me, with kind of getting back in shape and getting everything taken care of. I was clean shaven when I started the channel. I've been clean shaven most of my life. Like, that's just the way I did things. And, like, I don't know. Looking in the camera right now and seeing it in the feed, very strange. But I'm getting there. Hopefully it's not too strange for you. The one downside I'm seeing is, like, I look super white now. So welcome Christmas and the lack of sunlight being what it is. So here we go. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, Fata Morgana. Apparently, someone said I was literally like a few clicks away from the end of a chapter, so I picked a great time to stop. You know, but that's the kind of the nature of a blind let's play. I'm not going to be perfect at picking my endings. Normally, I can kind of read the beats of the story. But at this point, I remember last time I was getting really, really tired, and we'd been going for a while, and so I kind of got to just like a stopping point, and I was worried it was going to continue on and make me not want to stop for a while. So we'll just jump in from here. Michel was able to go through the Witch's Tale last time. We did all the Witch's Tale in one video. It was really nice that it worked out that way. So we kind of now understand where she comes from, and she's right. I got sympathy for her. Like, does it justify anything that she's done? No, not at all. But I can totally get it. I totally understand. It sucked, and her life sucked, and I wish there were something that we could do as character for her, but I don't think there is. Well, we finally got to the top of the tower. She allowed us through. We're going to go in, trying to find Giselle. I have a feeling it's not going to be Giselle in here, but we'll have to see. This is where the witch died. Half my money's on we'll see her corpse in here. Or, ooh, Bigotress. What if it was her? Like, what if she had like a physical-ish body? Like, she looked alive but wasn't alive like Giselle? That would be interesting. If she does, I guarantee you she's gonna be the white hair girl. I just have a feeling it's gonna be that. But that's not really a great founding. I feel like there was something familiar about the shape of the witch that we saw kidnapping Giselle. The form made me think of the white haired girl. So I think that's what's gonna go on here, but I don't know. Other than that little hunch, like, we're just going to have to plow forward and see what the heck happens next. So, I guess there's not really much else to say. Other than my sleeping schedule, excuse me. That's a good example. My sleeping schedule got thrown out of whack. I had some kind of crazy thing happen. I think I ended up, like, getting sick and needing to take, like, a super nap last week in the middle of the day. And I think it threw off my whole cycle. And so I now get really sleepy when I normally am used to waking up and being up and doing stuff for YouTube, and then I wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning wide awake and can't go to sleep. So I'm a little tired right now, but I'm trying to reset that inner clock, because while I definitely had other reasons why last week's videos were kind of like late and like off a little bit, a big contributor to it was definitely how tired I was getting when I normally would record. So I'm hopefully going to muscle through that this week, and we'll be able to kind of get back to our usual setting, and I won't be so sleepy-eyed. But thank you for your patience, and let's jump right in. I push open the door, praying that it will be the last. It's not. That beyond it lies the light for Giselle, and if possible, then I might cast a bit of light on Morgana's heart as well. Well, okay, why are we in the bedroom? Like, the main bedroom? What? However, why am I in my bedroom? what I find behind the door is the last thing I expect. Huh. As she appears from the shadows of my chamber, I can't conceal my surprise. Alright, Giselle. Are you the real Giselle or are you another fake Giselle? Because we've had 2 fake Giselles so far. Giselle. Is this another illusion, Morgana? Alright. No, it's not. I am the real me. Thank you for coming all the way here for me. She's thanking me. So why isn't she smiling? That was very kind and courteous of you, Michel. I'm deeply moved that you would have such compassion, not only for her, but for someone like me. But do you know what else you are? You're a worm. What is it this time, Morgana? What do you say we pull back the curtain, my dear? What curtain? There is one detail that hasn't yet come to light. This isn't your first return to the mansion, is it? You've been back numerous times, each time not remembering her, and each time hurting her even more. So it's okay, maybe Michel was the white-haired girl the whole time. I mean, she did say transform, not reborn. But still, it just seems so odd. What are you talking about? What am I talking about? Oh, you know good and well, my dear. Or do you honestly believe that all the other pieces were in their rightful place, and you alone were some exception? I never. Tell me, how was it? Living so many different eras, not knowing who you were, and playing with all the different men. No, you're out of your mind. You make it sound like I was... Not like, my dear. You are the white-haired girl. Enough! How could anyone possibly confuse me with her? To tell you the truth, I couldn't see you as anyone else. Your white hair, red eyes, porcelain skin, and your name. Tell me, what about you isn't the same? We're not the same person. I saw the letter. What? The one you had hidden. No. And you didn't think it was worth mentioning? No, Giselle, I didn't mean... You're exactly right, my dear Giselle. He's deceived you. He's kept a very important secret from you. Despite showing up before you multiple times, he cast you aside again and again. No, that wasn't me, it wasn't. It all makes sense now. Nothing you ever did was for me. Giselle, I... Go on, Giselle. Tell him exactly how you feel. Michel? Don't. Please, don't. Don't say it. Not that, please, I'm begging you. Is this about the picture? The picture in his room that he slashed? Oh. Oh, no. Stop. Please don't, Giselle. Not actually. Please. Don't say it. A man, at all, are you? Huh. Fetch. Fetch. Well, I did his voice wrong. Unless he's just, very masculine sounding, but fetch. Oh, I, did not see that coming. You're disgusting. The picture, though. You're the only one it could have been, my dear. The only one who could have been the white-haired girl. The next moment, my whole world comes tumbling down. Could have borne anything. Losing my arm, having my face torn off. Any amount of pain, I could have handled it. For you, I could have done it. But this, hearing those words coming from your mouth, being rejected by you, that I cannot. Those words, they bury me alive. And you're the one person I never wanted to hear them from. Wow. Very interesting. I want to know more about, like, how this came about. Like, was he always somebody who felt like he was a man, but, you know, was it biologically male? Or was this something else? Like, did I superimpose a gender on him just like Giselle did? But I don't think that's entirely true, because even Michel seems to be, like, knowing how this all works. So I would guess that he would have been transgender. And to be fair, I mean, I'm sure it must have been a thing way back when. I mean, it's kind of the way things are. It's just, it wouldn't have been publicized, and definitely would have been ostracized. Interesting. Okay. I just assumed that he was cast out and considered cursed because of his hair and his eyes. But that was an assumption. What if it was simply his orientation? Fetch. When I learned my father Antonin had passed, I wrote 2 letters, one to my brother and one to my mother. It was the first time I had found the courage to face my mother, to open up to her. I wanted to show her who I was, convince her that I wasn't cursed, so I could be myself when I returned to the capital with Giselle. Dear mother, there's something I wish to tell you, something that means a great deal to me. So I ask of you, please hear me out. And I ask of you, please accept it. Mother, I no longer bear any resentment for my present lot in life. Nevertheless, I would ask you to concede one thing, that I was never cursed, that I was always your son, that I am Michel, not Michel. Oh, you clever dog. That is... Oh, I have found someone whom I care for dearly, a woman, and I love her with all my heart. I would like to spend the rest of my life with her. I do not wish for much, simply to have a quiet life with her. To go through our days together, man and woman. That is the one thing I want. Mother, I know you're aware that my body is no longer female. Okay. Was that something he did? I am a man. My heart is male, and I ask of you to please accept that. I have no grudges with you. In fact, I am incredibly grateful to you for bringing me into this world. With love, your dearest son. Yeah, so he's just transgender. Shortly after sending that letter, I was killed. Probably because of that letter. Oh, dang. This is a curveball I legitimately never even conceived what could have been coming from it. I'm dragged down, against my will, into the darkness. Beneath me spreads my whole past. My door, the door I swore I never to open. But despite all my efforts to resist, the door sucks me into a world I never wanted to see again. A history I never wanted to reveal. A past I never wanted anyone to see. Nonetheless, the door opens. Well, dang. The 7th door. Fetch. 1086. How is it the visual novels that are written in Japan, which notoriously still struggles with LGBTQ like acceptance socially, can be so progressive in their geek stuff like anime and this? Like this came out in like 2012, right? Not like a foreign concept to be trans, but like definitely was a lot more of like a taboo topic, you know? Even in the United States, it was still very, very taboo. It still kind of is, but it's getting a lot better. So, how are they so cutting edge with this? How are they so forward thinking compared to like everyone around them? It's so interesting. There were two things out of the ordinary about that baby. The first was its parents embraced, and the second they wholly rejected. Although, it was some time before the baby's second peculiarity emerged, and until it finally did, no one was any the wiser, not even the child itself. Its mother surely enjoyed the brief period of happiness before her child finally realized the truth. Blind to the fact that the moment had left out its first cry, everything came crashing down. To this day, she still doesn't know the child she gave birth to, that she set loose a curse upon the world, a curse that turned angels into demons and humans into witches. Antonin. My God, look at that. She's beautiful, isn't she? Have you seen her laugh? Not yet, I haven't. At any rate, that color certainly is something else. God's gift to us. No, she's an angel sent from heaven. An angel? Ah, yes, I can see it now, Lydia. Liddy, her white hair and almost translucent skin. It's beautiful. My, she opened her eyes. Maybe she felt you nearby. Do you like your father more than me? Is that it, sweetheart? Gorgeous, aren't they? Such deep and enchanting color. Like two little jewels. Ah, that they are. A magnificent shade of red. I've never seen anything like it. And this is our child. She's special. I can feel it. We have to take good care of her. She needs a name. One that's just as special as her. Have you already chosen, Antonin? You were the one begging for a girl. You do it. Besides, I already have to rack my brain for the boy's name. Now it's your turn. Are you really going to let me? My. That's quite a lot of pressure. Name her after an angel, then. Oh, I like that. Alright then. We'll call her Michel, after the Archangel Michael. You'll grow up as beautiful as an angel, my Michel. Michel? I've always wanted a little girl. Oh my gosh. With her snowy white hair, skin so pale you could see the veins beneath it, and her ruby red eyes, she was a very peculiar looking little girl, and her mother showered her with love. She truly believed her daughter was an angel sent from above, born as a human child. The blessed babe, born a girl, was given an angel's name. Michel. Me. Oh, she does not look very happy. Checkmate. I see, that's what you did. Curses, I completely overlooked that. I thought you were advancing with your pawns, but that was all diversion. You're too short-sighted, Dater. You need to look at the bigger picture. Sometimes it's a tactician, not the soldier hiding the sword. Haha, you got me. You're quite good at this, Michel. What inspired you to take such an aggressive strategy? Hang on. It was not inspiration. It was a diversion. It was derivation. Derivation. Chess in many ways is similar to real war tactics. Ah, my military texts. You haven't read all of them, have you? I have nothing but time. Impressive. Even I haven't read all the books in my room. You're planning to join the order with that kind of knowledge? You jest. You're the one who's going to be a knight, Dieter. That I am. War is the men's job, after all. I want you to be there to welcome me home. Dieter! Oh, Dieter! I'm in a bit of a bind. Could you... Oh, hello there, Michel. I didn't know you were home, Georgius. I just got back, yep. Ho ho, playing chess again, are you? Let's see, what do we have here? Get away from the board. Yikes, you got trounced, huh? And you call yourself her big brother. As if you're any better. That's not funny, Georgius. I cannot approve of someone who can't keep up with the flow of battle of becoming a knight. Given our family's rank, you would eventually be put in charge of other soldiers. What are you worried about me? No, I'm saying. I've been blessed with such a caring sister. But fear not. I have a guardian angel, after all. Where's the logic in that? Sorry to interrupt your moments, but does nobody listen to me? Now, don't pout. So, what seems to be the problem, Georgius? Yes, listen to this. The Royal Court's holding a swordsmanship show, and for some reason I was selected to participate. How unfortunate for you. I can already see the ground sobbing. Hey, now, that's just mean. That was funny, though. Besides, my hands weren't meant to hold a sword. Look at these dainty fingers. They're covered in calluses. Dainty calluses. Tell me, why would they have an artist sword fighting? That's the whole point, I would think. No need to get so worked up. No one's expecting you to win. Maybe not, but we have a name to worry about. And you know what that means, don't you? I'm going to lose, that's a given. But I want to do it in style. I feel bad for your sword. Oh, don't be like that. Now come on, time's a-wasting. To the courtyard we go. Just so you know, if I train you, I'm going to train you right. All I want to know is how to look good. What is it, Michel? May I watch? Fine with me, but you know you can't go outside. I'll be watching from the hall. I can't open one. I can open one of the windows facing the courtyard. Still, you need to be careful. You can't spend too much time in the sun. I know. Okay. I find myself very thirsty. I had two older brothers. The eldest, Dieter, belonged to an order of knights that served the church, kind of like pseudo-Templars, and below him was Georgius, who served as a court artist. He was, in all likelihood, who would inherit the family estate, as knights were not formally allowed to own property. Nevertheless, the Bollinger family name was upheld by Dieter. And then there was me, the youngest, the only daughter. Physically, I was not in particularly good health. Because of the color of my skin, I was hypersensitive to sunlight. I rarely left the estate. My world was contained entirely within these walls. And perhaps out of some sense of pity or compassion, my two brothers spent a good deal of time with me. They also could have just loved you. Dieter played chess with me, and Georgius taught me how to draw. And among other things, they taught me how to read and write as well. For a girl, I was incredibly fortunate. The one thing I wasn't allowed to do, though, was hold a sword. While hardly anything unusual, it bothered me deeply. And it had for as long as I could remember. If I had been told I couldn't do it because I lacked the strength, I probably would have accepted it. But the reason given to me was not that I was weak, but that I was a girl. And with each passing year, that smoldering frustration in the back of my heart grew larger. Come on, put your back into it. Like I said, all I wanted was to put on a good show. Oh, you'll put on quite a show, unless you learn how to swing that sword properly. Give me a break! Out in the garden, my two brothers traded swings bare-chested. All I could do, though, was observe from afar. And every time I found myself forced to watch, I felt a sharp pain like a needle piercing my chest. A needle that seemed to be growing ever thicker. My mother and brothers loved me dearly, but that didn't change the fact that the outside world lay beyond my reach. I was trapped in the estate by my own body. At first I thought that was the root of my pain. But that answer seemed to contradict something inside me, something I couldn't explain. Something I couldn't ignore even as a child. So I searched within myself, trying to find an explanation for the constant swelling sensation of wrongness inside me. Day after day, I gazed at the cavern of my own heart. My, now what are the two of them doing out there? George is asked to do swordsmanship show in the royal court, so Dieter's helping him. Swordsmanship? Oh, I can't stand those shows. Blades are so dangerous. I can't watch people swinging them at each other. Why don't you come back to your room with me, Michel? I would love to teach you how to sew. But Mom, I want to watch them practice. Michel? First of all, you need to watch how you speak, young lady. You do not call me Mom, you call me Mother. This is what happens when you spend so much time around the boys. As your mother, I don't approve of you playing chess or making art. A woman has no need for such skills. They will only make you look insolent. But I want you to grow up and be a respectable woman. That is my job and my dream as your mother. Now, come. I would rather you look for some fine embroidery with me than a couple of sweaty men. Yes, Mother. You are my little girl, after all. Spending time with my mother was agonizing. Was it because her world was so isolated? No, that wasn't it. Her gentle voice, the sweet scent of her perfume, that way she constantly told me how much she loved me, and her diatribes about how wonderful it was to be a girl. Everything she did put so much pressure on me. But above all, she loved to say, "You are my little girl, after all." And there was nothing strange about that at all. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw a daughter of a noble. That was who I was. So the only thing wrong was how I felt. Every time I was faced with the reality of who I was, my heart wavered. I had no interest in learning to embroider. I didn't understand why that was necessary. I knew what purpose it served. Everything she taught me what I'd need when I was wed off to some noble boy, and it was my responsibility to learn those things. It didn't feel right, though. I couldn't even accept the fact one day I would be married. It was but an ominous shadow lurking in my future. I would have preferred ravaging the books in Dieter's room than having a conversation with my mother. Tales of heroes and old and dauntless soldiers. Military texts written by tacticians in the midst of war. Thinking about them set my heart aflutter to make me think about my brother. He was training to be a knight. An envisioned armor flecked with rust. A long sword glimmering with blood of savages. Soon I found myself in fantasies, imagining how the sword would feel in my hands. The sensation of the hilt beneath my fingers, swinging it gallantly, like my brother. How heavy was it? How much whistle would it need to carry it? How much impact would I feel in my hands when I struck something? How restricted would my vision be wearing a helmet? How much did it weigh? How hot was it inside? I had no way of answering these questions, though. Kill me now! I have some cloth if you'd like to wipe yourself off. Oh, yeah, thanks. Oh, it's so dead. You were at it for a long time. I've never known D to have something once he gets started. Which I guess is what makes him a knight material, but are you opposed to him becoming a knight? Well, you know, I kind of assumed he'd inherit the estate and handle and take care of everything. So it's like, why's he gotta go and be some priest whippings boy? Don't tell him I said that though. He wants to fight for a greater good. I don't know. Despite the name, he wouldn't be doing much fighting himself. Anywho, someone that's passionate about him might be able to make changes for the better. Changes? He knows what conditions the order is in. That's why he's joining. Figures he wants to whip him into shape, melt him down, reforge the whole thing. Ha. Huh. So he might be able to change things. What? What are you muttering about, Michel? Hey! Whoa, hold on! I guess the one thing to bring up, because it's interesting, this topic can be very controversial, and I don't want to get too much into politicking here, but I do want to talk about something I've learned through just like science and just various sources of learning about things. Like, one thing we need to keep an understanding of whenever we talk about gender relations and sexual orientation, nature gets things wrong. It happens all the time. There's villages in South America where they have a really prominent gene that actually confuses the sex of the child. So like they'll be born with female parts, but then develop male parts halfway, like during puberty. Like, I'm not talking about just like they go through puberty. They actually like grow new organs and such. It's crazy. So these people who are born, everyone assuming they're female based on what they see and how they're born, it turns out they're genetically male, and that manifests in their body later. There are people who have been born with both sets of genitalia from birth, and that they can be functional too. Like, all of this tells me, like, while these are really hedge cases, it tells me that there really isn't a argument to say that like your gender is your gender and it's locked to you. Like, nature makes mistakes, and there's got to be an accounting for that. And so I can't ever sit there and be like, you know, if someone's having feelings that the gender that they were born was wrong, or the biological sex they were born was wrong, or that they have attractions to people like that are gay or bi or straight, like these feelings are naturally part of who we are. We don't get to choose them or program them. The choices we make is like how we handle them. Like, some people like just refuse to acknowledge them. Some people are afraid of them, but some people embrace them. And thankfully, we're living in a world where embracing them is becoming more and more accepted, which means a lot more people are having, I don't know, honest discussions about themselves with themselves, and making better decisions and healthier decisions because of it. It wasn't too long ago that like religious leaders would encourage people who are feeling like homosexual tendencies to just get married to somebody of the opposite sex and just make it work. That for some reason, you know, having a family and trying to have kids would just make that all better. You know, like it was some kind of fad. And so I guess I want you to exercise caution if you're watching this and this is the first time you've ever come to the topic of a transgender individual. Like, understand that this is not uncommon, and for those who go through it, it's very much, they're confused too. That's the thing. Their body is going to be screaming in two different directions, and that's not pleasant to go through. It's not something, a decision that people make on a whim. It's not something that just kind of happens. Every time I've ever heard about something like this, it's always come down to, like, it's always been a part of them. Like Michel's showing here. So we're going to just continue on with this, but just keep that in mind, you know? Walk a mile in other people's shoes before you judge them. And I think it's unfair that some people feel like, I can understand like people who have religious problems with it too. Like I get that. I really get that. But there's a difference between what you believe and what you force other people to do. Like, when you pass laws to make things like gay marriage illegal, or something like that, you're just hurting the people who have to face that choice, who are facing those feelings. You're not curing them. You're not preventing unholy or, undignified things from happening. Instead, you're just forcing the people who go through these emotions to go through severe emotional distress and fear. We should be able to accept people, despite what our beliefs are. You could believe it's the most evil thing in the world to change your gender, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop loving the people who do. And I hope that if you do have that inner burning attitude of just nope, it's gender's gender, there's only two, and it's what you're born with, I encourage you to do some research into some of those cases I talked about, where the gender is far from simple to determine, and that there are genuine exceptions that happen biologically, independent of anything. And in the face of that evidence, I don't know if you can justifiably say that, oh yeah, every single time someone says they're trans, that they're just making stuff up. No. Give people the benefit of the doubt, and understand that people feel different things and see the world differently and experience things differently. And to just project your own feeling and viewpoint on others in a desperate attempt to try and make people better, all you do is hurt everyone else. And yourself in a way. But it's tough. It's tough to be accepting if you have very strong principles that are against, same-sex marriage or transgenderism or any of the LGBTQ community. But the last thing we need to do is make their lives harder. Anyway, done soapboxing, but it's food for thought. I don't care where you are in your life, think about that. And understand that, trying to tell somebody to stop having these feelings and ignore them would be like trying to tell yourself to stop having attraction to a girl or a boy who you find lovely and interesting. Could you just stop, for me, could I just stop being attracted to girls? No. That'd be silly. I mean, that's a good example is when you're in a relationship. You're supposed to be focused on the one person, the one partner. At least in a typical relationship. It kind of comes with this monogamy feel. So does that mean that I'm a terrible person if I look at another woman and admit to myself that she's very, very pretty? No. Those feelings, those urges, they're part of me. And it's all about how I act on them and the choices I make that matter. You can't punish me for having feelings, and you never should. But if I use those feelings as excuses to do something inappropriate, then I have to own that. And so that's the question is, sometimes people say it's just inappropriate to act on feelings like that, but they're human feelings. And everyone deserves happiness. I mean, it's all in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. I think that's the phrase. I think I mixed up a couple of words, but that phrase I love most of all is the pursuit of happiness. An inalienable human right that we should all strive for happiness. It doesn't guarantee we're all going to find it, but we should all consider that our happiness, what makes us happy, doesn't mean that it's going to make everyone else happy in the same way or the same shape. I don't know. It's important. And this is an important topic. Like I said, I'm really excited that it's actually dived into this. I'm not going to be able to go too much longer. I'm getting really, really tired, so it's going to be a bit of a shorter episode. I'm sorry. But I'm going to continue a little bit more, try and get to a good stopping point. I'm so tired. I don't know what I did to make myself so exhausted today. The pain I felt in my chest when I smelled the sweat emanating from Georgia's body. When I looked at his slender but distinctly male build, I was convinced it was admiration. Did I want to become a knight too? Maybe the discomfort I felt was because I wanted to be like him. But it'd all go away if you were able to change the rules and I could join the order as well. I was positive it would. It's interesting the style change they went with. Dieter? Michelle? Hold on. You can't come barging in my room unannounced. I'm trying to change. We need to talk. I said stop. You're a girl. You can't just walk in on a man as he's changing. I see no reason for you to be so self-conscious. Listen to me, Michelle. George just tells me you're planning to overhaul the order. He told you that? No, I hardly have any such grand aspirations. Don't be coy. I believe you have what it takes to do it, Dieter. What's gotten into you? You're unusually fiery today. So I want to ask you a favor. When you have enough influence in the order, I would like you to make me a knight too. You what? I'm tired of the way Mother treats me. I'm always saying I can't do this because she's saying I can't do this or that because I'm a girl. I want to learn how to swing a sword. I don't want to do embroidery. I don't care about jewelry or fancy clothes. Michelle, what's gotten into you? I'm so much more interested in the world you live in, Dieter. So please. Well, I'll be. I suppose we must have let ourselves spend too much time with you. Not you, too. That's exactly what Mother said. First of all, Michelle, you don't have the strength to hold a sword. Then I'll train until I do. And if that doesn't work, I'll still have my mind. You know good and well I could... People are not chess pieces, Michelle. But Dieter... But above all, you're missing the most important point. I will not, for any reason, be the kind of man who makes a woman take up a sword. Dieter... This may seem normal to you, growing up with two brothers. But I want you to listen to me, Michelle. Men and women walk different paths. Men wield swords and fight against dangerous enemies, and they do so to protect the weak, women, and children. I am here to protect you and your mother. You're no different than her. You don't treat me any different than her. Honestly, what's gotten into you, Michelle? Why wouldn't I treat you like the daughter of a Bollinger estate? Your brother and I, we never meant to make you think... Forget it. What? I'm sorry. I knew I was acting foolish. Oh? But I thought you would understand how I feel. Even just a little bit. Was I expecting him to understand? Even I didn't understand the things I felt. I wanted to know what had gotten me so far into me far more than he did. What had I done with no better than throwing a temper tantrum? Was I that desperate to become a knight? No. I just had thought that the key to the change in my heart lay down the road, but ultimately there was nothing. Assuming Dieter had agreed, assuming I did become a knight, I wouldn't do anything for the core problem. As I dashed from my brother's room, I snuck a peek at him. His face was filled with intense perplexity. Why did I say fence? And how could I blame him? I had tried to push a dozen different ideals onto him at once. Filled myself with a vain hope that he would somehow be able to make sense of me when I couldn't even make sense of myself. And now, bubbling with unwarranted anger at being let down, I fled to my own chambers. I can only imagine how frustrated that must have been for him. Man, though, I gotta admit, not for Michel. Man, I would think a lady knight would be so cool. I've always personally been drawn towards women with strength and women who take charge, you know? Nothing wrong with being feminine, but like having drive and vision and standing up for yourself and having the craving to be able to have a career and like lead your own life. Like that's something I've always found attractive in a person. And it's funny too. I do have a tendency to, in my youth, I had like inevitably 50% of the crushes I had were on people who were either gay or I guess you could say trans, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think somebody who I used to like eventually transitioned, but I lost touch with them so I'm not really sure. But definitely I had 3 times where I like met a girl and I was like, wow, she's cute, she's amazing. I love her attitude, and I was like, I really like her. But no, turned out that she was gay, all 3 of them. And I think, I don't know, I think a big part of it had to come from like that, like kind of like a core independence that has to come when you experience different emotions, and especially in a culture where it's not really appropriate, like accepted, considered appropriate. There's kind of a fire that has to be in your belly, and I found that attractive, but obviously never went anywhere. Yeah, okay. I know it's a bit of a shorter episode, but I think we're gonna end it here. But man, here we are, in the middle of Michel's story. I'm gonna keep doing his inner monologue with my voice. I find it very appropriate considering what's going on. I do have, if you notice, I've up-tuned his voice here, but it's because it represents like his youth and when he was feminine at the time. But I'm gonna keep his deeper voice. It's probably not hyper realistic, but it's the voice I've given him, and I think it fits him well. So we're gonna stick with that in his adult form. So this is an interesting topic. I really don't mind you talking about it or sharing opinions, but I really don't want you fighting in the comments. I'll probably try and smooth things over if I see people bickering. I don't want this to get political, but I do want this to be a platform where we can share our thoughts and ideas. I want this to be a place where we can discuss what's happening and how it relates to us in our lives. And I will not hold a grudge or call you out and be like really mean or call you like ignorant if you struggle with accepting people who are LGBTQ, who are transgender or who have homosexual tendencies. Like, it's a tough topic, and a lot of us come from backgrounds where it's considered very inappropriate. So struggling with that concept is not bad. The bad stuff comes from when you use your lack of understanding and as an excuse for a lack of compassion and understanding of who people can be and how they feel. So, as long as you're not being abusive, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As long as you're not being deriding and like discrediting people that have real emotions like this, I would love to know your thoughts, even if you disagree with them. Just don't discount them. Don't try and sidelight them or make them sound like they're just trying to get attention, which is the biggest one I hear, and it drives me nuts. If you've never, like, the only reason why I think most people get stuck in that loop of thinking is because they've never taken the time to get to know somebody who is LGBTQ. Give yourself a chance. Give them a chance. Just try and just get to know them. And you'll soon find that they're just people. And that they have the same amount of dreams and hopes that you do. And that in fact, they sometimes have greater spirits, drive, and compassion because of the hardships that they faced, because of the type of feelings that they have inside their souls. So, I appreciate you guys being here today. I know I got a little preachy, but these topics are really important. They're critical, and we debate them still far too often. Compared to, like, it's a lot better than what it used to be, but by far we have not finished our journey towards really understanding and accepting where this all comes from. So, I hope you have at least something to think about as we plunge further and further into the story of Michel and where he came from. But until the next video, watch me, have to see me next. I'll see you there.